All right, we are going to take notes for the distributive property. So on line 14 of your table of contents, write the distributive property. This is page 14. And then let's turn to page 14. And the distributive property is really important. We're going to use it a lot this year in pre-algebra. You'll use it a lot next year in Algebra 1. So the distributive property, if we were going to define it, and we're going to make this a middle school, a pre-algebra friendly definition, we would say the distributive property is multiplying a value. So maybe it's a number, maybe it's a variable, it's a value, outside the parentheses. So multiplying a value outside the parentheses to, and I'm going to change colors and make this really bold, both values inside the parentheses. The distributive property is multiplying a value outside the parentheses to both values inside the parentheses. So outside to both inside. Because when something touches parentheses, it means multiply. If you had 4 parentheses, x plus 3, that means 4 times x plus 3. Well, I don't know what x plus 3 is because x is unknown. It's a variable. I always like to, and you should too, whenever we have a lonely variable, I like to put a 1 with it so that I know that there's 1x. If there's already a number there, I don't need to do that. But if it's lonely, let's put a 1 in there. So this is what it looks like. I circle the 4 because that's what's getting multiplied, and I'm going to draw an arrow to help me remember right now. So I'm going to take 4 times 1x, and I'm going to do 4 times, and remember, that's a positive 3. 4 times 1 is 4x. And 4 times 3 is 12. And it's a positive 12, so I'd put a plus. And I'm done. That's my answer. I can't do anything more because these don't go together. This has an x and this doesn't. So we're stuck. You can multiply numbers times variables, but you cannot add variables and numbers together, so we're done. So I took the number outside the parentheses, which was 4, and I multiplied it, because when it touches, that means multiply. I multiplied to both values inside, 4 times 1x and 4 times positive 3. 4 times 1x is 4x, and 4 times 3 is 12, and it's positive, so I put a plus. So let's write that remember to us. You need to remember the sign inside the parentheses belongs to the number behind it. And we've been doing that with addition and subtraction of integers. Whatever that number is, it belongs. It's positive 3. If it was a minus, it would be a negative 3. So let's do some practice problems. What if my number outside is negative? Does that change anything? Sure doesn't. Negative 3 times 4y plus 2. I'm going to take that negative 3, I'm going to draw a circle around it, and I'm going to distribute it to the other two values. I'm going to write down the middle step. At some point you can skip the middle step and do it in your head. But in our notes we want to write down everything so we don't forget. Negative 3 times 4y and negative 3 times 2. Negative 3 times 4y is negative 12y, and negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. Eight times 3x minus 2. 8 times 3x minus 2. Circle the 8 and distribute it. So 8 times 3x and 8 times, remember, negative 2. 8 times 3x is 24x. And 8 times negative 2 is negative 16. Let's do 2 more examples and then you can just start your homework. Negative 4 parentheses negative 5x minus 3y. Oh man, this is a lot. At least take it step by step, we'll be okay. Negative 4 times negative 5x minus 3y. That negative 4 goes to both inside. Negative 4 times negative 5x, negative 4 times negative 3y. Negative 4 times negative 5 is positive 20x. And negative 4 times negative 3y, negative 4 times negative 3 is 12y. And it was positive, so I'm going to put a plus sign. Y times 8 minus x. Y times 8 minus x. To begin with, I'm going to put a 1 in front of all of my lonely variables. We never want them to be alone. Give them a friend. Circle the 1y and distribute it to both inside. 1y times 8 and 1y times negative 1x. 1 times 8 is 8y. 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. And y and x, they don't go together, so I just write them side by side. Some people will say, I want these to be in alphabetical order because that's a better mathematical representation. You can do that, that's okay. 8y minus 1xy. You can change the order as long as they're touching. That's okay. However, that first answer will be perfectly fine for now. So remember, when you're using the distributive property, you multiply the value outside to both values inside. So you take the number outside and draw your loops, draw your arrows to the 2 inside. And then you just multiply. Number times number, put the variable on the end. Number times number, write the answer. Don't forget, the sign inside the parentheses belongs to the number behind it. Watch this video again if you're confused and see if it makes sense the second time. Refer back to your notes while you're doing your homework. Refer back to this video while you're doing your homework. multiplying a value outside. So that number outside, you circle it and you draw your arrows inside. And it multiplies, right? Because when a number touches the parentheses, it means to multiply. So you take the number outside, multiply to both numbers inside.